a hockey-playing cowboy named Bill Flett, a man who used his immense strength and powerful shot to score 305 goals in 12 big league seasons. It's also the tale of a fun-loving character who was the first NHL player to sport a full beard and who was always the life of the party. It's time to look back at the colorful career and untamed life of the legendary Cowboy Bill Flett. The legend of Cowboy Flett begins on July 21, 1943 in Vermilion, Alberta, a small hamlet in central Alberta, about 2 hours east of Edmonton. Flett handled cattle at a young age and built his muscles while working on a farm. Later, he became a calf roper in and around Calgary and was known to participate in rodeos with regularity. Meanwhile, Flett's hockey playing skills were also developing, and he was selected to play Junior A hockey with the Melville Millionaires in Melville, Saskatchewan. Eventually, he was signed by the Toronto Maple Leafs organization and assigned to the Western League's Victoria Maple Leafs for the 64-65 season. He'd eventually labor through 6 minor league seasons, but had little hope of lassoing an NHL roster spot in a 6-team NHL. But, as with many minor league players of that era, expansion came to the rescue as the NHL doubled in size to 12 teams in 1967. Los Angeles Kings selected the 6'1", 215-pound Flett in the 18th round of the expansion draft, and he made an immediate impact in LA, scoring a team-leading 26 goals in 73 games while being named the Sporting News NHL West Division Rookie of the Year. Now that he had become a fixture on the Kings, though, Flett's rodeo activities drew the ire of team owner Jack Kent Cook, who threatened to fine him $1,000 for each rodeo he appeared in. Flett acquiesced and hung up his chaps for good. Cowboy Flett was a mainstay for those early Kings teams. He represented the Kings in the 1971 NHL All-Star Game and set up Bobby Hull's game-winning goal as the West defeated the East 2-1. Within a year, however, Flett had fallen out of favor in LA and was traded to the Philadelphia Flyers as part of an 8-player deal. Flett reflected on his situation in LA. Quote, "When Hal Lako took over as Kings coach during the 71-72 season, he wouldn't play me. I might as well have been in Siberia." Well, it wasn't Siberia, but still, Flett balked at the trade to Philadelphia and instead booked a flight to Hawaii. Luckily, teammate Eddie Joyal convinced him that a paycheck in Philly was better than a suspension in Maui. For Flett, the city of brotherly love proved to be a much better home than Siberia, Hawaii, or LA for that matter, as he finished out the 71-72 season with 11 goals in 31 games, playing on the Flyers' top line with future Hall of Famers Bobby Clarke and Bill Barber. It's often forgotten, however, that Flett's Flyers career almost ended after those 31 games. With the fledgling World Hockey Association now on the scene, Flett nearly set off a full-scale war between the two leagues when he and Dave Schultz inked pacts with the WHA New York Raiders. Ultimately, the Flyers successfully contested these contracts in court and boosted the salaries of both players to entice them to stay in Philly. It was at the press conference to announce his new contract that Flett unveiled a beard that would become his trademark. In that era, no player sported a full beard, and Flett's facial growth combined with his long hair cemented his image as hockey's cowboy on skates. The new look Flett embarked on a career year, 1972-73, scoring 43 goals, the 5th highest total in the NHL. Flett's best game, a natural hat trick versus Sabres, was typical of this magical campaign as all 3 of his tallies were assisted by Bobby Clarke. However, Flett's play would fall off dramatically during the 1973-74 season as his production dropped to a mere 17 goals. In addition, he failed to score a goal in 17 postseason games. Despite Flett's struggles, the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. But if they were going to repeat in 74-75, they were willing to do it without Cowboy Flett. The fun-loving Cowboy, admittedly, would never turn down a drink, and his hard-partying lifestyle, coupled with his falling production, made him expendable. When GM Keith Allen acquired right-wing Reggie Leach from the California Golden Seals, Flett was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs, a mere 6 days after the Flyers' Cup win. While the Flyers battled their way to another Stanley Cup in 74-75, Flett endured a miserable 15-goal season in Toronto and was waived in the offseason. He was claimed by the Atlanta Flames and rebounded with a 23-goal output in 75-76, but by the midpoint of the following season, Flett was benched and his career appeared to be near its end. At this point, the World Hockey Association re-entered Flett's hockey life, and in a rare interleague deal, the Flames sold a 33-year-old Flett to the Edmonton Oilers. Thrilled to return to his home province, Flett dented WHA nets 34 times in just 48 games in 76-77. He scored 22 goals in his last 23 games, including 3 in the season finale to vault the Oilers into the WHA playoffs. Flett enjoyed 2 more strong WHA seasons with 41 goals and 28 assists in 77-78, and 28 goals and a career-high 36 assists in the WHA's swan song 1978-79. He also had a strong postseason in 1979 with 5 goals in 10 games, including this blast versus Winnipeg's Gary Smith in Game 6 of the Avco Cup Finals.
Oilers out 4-on-2. Hamilton to the right. Here's Flett cranking up. He scores! Cowboy Flett blasting past the right side of Gary Smith, and it's now 5-2. That goal coming early after only 148.
Cowboy Flett and the Oilers were part of the NHL's 1979 expansion. But after playing just 20 NHL games, it was time for the Cowboy to ride off into the sunset. As with many players of that era, Cowboy Flett's penchant for hardcore drinking only escalated upon retirement. In the mid-90s, former teammate Wayne Gretzky, Oilers owner Peter Pocklington, and GM Glenn Sather arranged for Cowboy to visit the Betty Ford Clinic to address his issues with alcohol. Although the treatment was a success, the physical damage brought on by decades of alcohol abuse proved to be irreversible. Flett suffered from liver failure in May of 1999, and although he received a liver transplant, his body rejected it, and he would pass away in July 1999 at just 55 years old. Cowboy Flett remains a mythical figure in sports lore as social media tweets and memes liken him to Moses, Noah, Bigfoot, and of course, Grizzly Adams.
This ain't one of your long stories, is it?
For classic hockey fans, though, Bill Flett is best remembered as hockey's original cowboy. We hope you enjoyed this look back at the career of Cowboy Flett